we need to that damn car. Whatever. Damn it, dude. You see, as a skater, I'm sure you've had those sessions where you just get frustrated because you cannot land a trick. Now, there can be so many different aspects as to why this session could be off, right? It could be the fact that you might have had a lack of sleep, you didn't get those 6 to 8 hours. Maybe your nutritional is off compared to usual. Maybe you ate a little bit more crap than you're supposed to, and now you just are feeling it the next day. Maybe you just feel off, maybe you're super sore. You know, yes, all these can play into the bucket of why your session wasn't on point. But what I'm here to talk to you about today is those sessions when you have what I call noodle legs. Whether you're just out there cruising around, pushing the streets, or you might be out there trying to stack those clips and you just cannot seem to get the trick you're trying to get. You can't land right. Maybe you can't lock into that grind or slide. Trust me, I've been there. I know how it is. The training principle we're gonna talk about today is gonna help you further the outcome of each session you have. Today, I'm here to share with you what this training principle is, how it can assist you in your day-to-day life as well as on your skateboard. And by the end of today's video, we will be giving you some of our best tips so you can start to implement it into your training so you can boost your skating today. Let's get to it. What is up, everybody? My name is Devante, and you're here with Extreme Strength and Fitness. And like you heard in the intro, we're here to talk about a training principle that can really help you negate those, what I like to call, noodle legs. When you get to the skate park, you know, you might stretch it out a little bit, whatever. We've talked about that before. And you get on the board and you just super loose everywhere. What are we here to talk about? Well, we're here to talk about stability. Let's define stability, right? I'm sure you've heard it a bunch of different ways. Simply put, here at Extreme Strength and Fitness, it's the ability to resist force. Whether that be the force from you lifting some weights, even doing a body weight squat even, to jumping down a stair set, which we'll talk about more here in a moment. But first off, we need to break down stability because there's actually two other things that most people just don't talk about. And we're gonna go into it right now. Externally stabilized versus internally, I guess this is both things. Externally stabilized versus internally stabilized, right? Let's talk about externally stabilized. It's right there in the name of it, right? External meaning something on the outside of your body that you're using to further assist you in a movement, right? I can do a little B-roll here of a single leg RDL that's externally stabilized. Bunch of other movements that you can do for this. This isn't the only one, but just think that's in the realm of what I'm talking about. Anything on the outside of your body, external from you, that is assisting you to stabilize an exercise or a movement, I should say, that's your externally stabilized stability. Now we gotta go to internal stability. Can you guess what internal stability is? It's not that hard. It's internally, right? You're using the stuff that your CNS is telling you to turn on, the muscles within your deep musculature of your spine, your core, whatever. If you're doing hips, the lateral stabilizers of your hips, all that stuff. That is what internal stability is. It's your body itself stabilizing. So we had external stability, anything external from your body. Internal stability, anything within your body, right? Just think about it that way. Now, like I said, we need to kind of talk about force in skating. What are we trying to talk about there? So let's get into that. All right, so force for skating. What are we talking about here? Well, look at it this way. It is your body weight times the speed at which you're going and the force that gravity puts upon you, right? So look at it this way. The size of a stair set. That force is gonna be a little bit more than if you fall cruising down the street. You also can think, if you weigh less, you weigh more, you fall in the same fall, who's gonna produce a little bit more force, right?
A sense of disturbance in the force.
Look at it that way, right? So the force of skating, your body weight, times what gravity effect is doing on you, applied by the speed at which you're going and the trick at which you're doing. Let's define stability for everyday life. Simply put, I mean, either whether you're doing a job and you're lifting stuff, yes, I get that. There needs to be stability around your shoulder, all this stuff, right? I get that. I understand. But just for everyday life, walking around, just don't fall on your face. I mean, it's what's keeping you up when you're walking, keeping you upright. When you go to sit down, are you able to sit down slowly? Are you able to, oh, the bench is gonna go up. Are you able to come down slow? Or do you just go, whoa, and just plop down? Just don't fall on your face. That's stability in everyday life. Let's talk stability for skating. The ability to land tricks, dog, I mean, come on now, and not fall on your face again. I mean, it's that simple. If you didn't have stability, if you were just a noodle and every time you landed, bro, you went like this, you wouldn't get very far in skating. Hey, real quick, do me a favor. Go down in the comments and comment what trick is the hardest for you when it comes to stability. Is a long grind, a manual, and guess what? If you're just learning to skate, then that takes stability too. So go ahead, go down in the comments and comment ride. All right, so now we need to talk about how do we improve stability through training. What can we do with the exercises that we're choosing, the exercise selection? What can we do with those movements that will help increase stability? Before we even hop into any of the movements that we can do, first you need to understand what your current level of stability is. You do this through an assessment. Now, an assessment isn't just done one time. You should be assessing every single time you exercise. Every single time you go to train. Let's switch it around. Let's change exercise to training. You know, you put that focus toward it. You're training for something. Training to skate better. Training to skate longer. Training to not get injured, right? So let's get that out the way real quick. But like I was saying, you need to go through an assessment. Now, I'm not going to take the time here in this video to explain what an assessment would be, how you'd run through it, but feel free to hit up our coaches. Go to our website, xtremesf.com/book online. You can go ahead over there, get a consultation. Right now for August, everything is free online, and then after that, all our proceeds are getting donated to the Henry Gartland Foundation. The second tip, you need to find movements and equipment that help put the body in a more unstable position in order to train for stability, right? Now, how can you do this? Well, there's 1 and 2. You can deviate your center of mass and you can limit your base of support. So let me go over that really quick. So deviating your center of mass, right? Now, for most of us, our center of mass is going to be found right about our belly button region. What you can do to deviate your center of mass is something like a single leg RDL, like you see right here on the screen. You can see my belly button starts up straight where that region is, and it ends up going toward the ground and back. You know, I'm deviating that center of mass. I'm going off that baseline of where my body is most comfortable. And then second is limiting your base of support, right? Look at this right here, like you see on screen. When I have a wider stance, I have a better base of support. The second I bring my feet in together, my base of support is super limited. It's way more limited, even more if you go on one leg. And then super wide again, there we go. We got a better base of support. You know, that's how you can work on stability. Now, single leg stuff like lunges, stuff like you see here, a lunge to a sprinter pose, that's gonna really help deviate that center of mass and help with stability focused training. All right, now the third tip, something we really have to talk about is how you wanna train for these movements, right? So it's so confusing out there. I know there's a bunch of different rep schemes and different ways to do stuff. You got the 8 to 12 for muscle building. You got the 5 to 8 for strength, you know, all this stuff that you might hear and you might not even know, so don't even worry about it. You know, when it comes to training for stability, what you really want to do is use these movements as a gatekeeper, right? Find those movements that you find yourself that you can really run through the joints in your body, and like I said, you can hit us up for a consultation. We can walk you through what that exactly is, and maybe we'll do a video someday on it. But like I was saying, you need to train those movements to really further understand where you are that day before you skate, and even like where you are in your training cycle, right? So what was off the day before that you are feeling a little bit different this morning? Like what happened in training or what happened in skating that you can't get through this gatekeeper cycle exercise, and now you got to kind of do a little bit more work before you skate or before you do more training. and then you use those movements, work on stability. And of course, you want to incorporate, single leg movements into your training. That's going to really help work on the lateral stabilizers of your hip, all this other stuff that incorporates into that, right? So when it comes to training for this, I would even recommend people train stability movements every day. It's not that hard to just stand on one leg. It's really not. And you can work on the stability of your hip in that fashion. Not saying that's going to get you, to the end all be all result, but what it can do is at least get you on the path to just doing more than you're doing now. Now, like always here at Extreme Strength and Fitness, let's go through a roundup of what we just talked about. Stability. What is stability? The ability to resist force. It's as simple as we're gonna make it for this video. Now, what is the force in skateboarding? What are we fighting in skateboarding? What is the force we're producing? Well, it's going to be your body weight times the speed at which you're going times the forces that gravity is putting upon you. Now, that can be different depending on what you're skating that day. If you're jumping down a stair, if you're going in the bowl, whatever the case may be, if you're skating in Henry's ramp, right? It's gonna be different forces applied, but that's the equation that we use here to kind of look at what your body's going to be going through. Now, what is stability in life? Just don't fall on your face. Like, it's that simple. You just don't want to fall on your face. It's going to keep you upright in life and not just a noodle everywhere. Now, what is stability in skating? Stability in skating is simply the ability to land your tricks and stay on the board. It's as easy as that. Now, let's go over those 3 tips that we talked about just a little bit ago. First things first, you need to be able to assess your current level of stability. Where are you at today? Where are you at tomorrow? Keep doing that too. Don't forget that. Now, the second thing, you need to be able to choose movements or equipment that put the body in a more unstable position. Now, like I said, you can do this by deviating the center of mass and by limiting your base of support. Now, you can use equipment that really helps too, like kettlebells, doing a bottom under press like you see here on the screen, and then also using resistance bands to really work on that. Almost had my papers blow away again. Really have that stability challenge in different positions through the ranges of motion that you're taking that movement through. Now, the third tip is the way to train these movements, right? When it comes to rep scheme and all that, yes, you can keep it in the 6 to 12 range. Let's say that right for right now, depending on what you're doing. You can talk to me more about that if you want more insight, but really use these movements to train to understand where you are that day before you skate and what you may need to do in order to be more ready for a skate session. You might get in there, do your gatekeeper cycle, and boom, that happens to me sometimes. I'm like, bet, let's go, let's skate. But then there's other times where, I might be like, whoop, a little unstable there. So I do a little bit extra work to make sure that I'm ready and I'm meeting those prerequisites for my body, for the demands that come from skating. All right, everybody, I want to say thank you for watching How to Land More Tricks, stability training for skaters. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And remember, you can check the description down below for booking information and content information. And always remember, everyone is capable of being extreme.